Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I know I'm a little bit behind on doing movie reviews on my channel. I'm doing my best to try to catch up as much as I can. So here's my review of the Disney live action remake of The Little Mermaid. Look, at first, I'm not the only one. I was very nervous going into this movie because for years Disney has not had the best track record by putting out the Disney live action remakes quality wise. Most of them have been a big hit and miss. But there are exceptions that I really enjoyed about the live action remakes was Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella, Jon Favreau's Jungle Book, which I love that film. I thought it was better than the original, even though I really love the original. Don't get me wrong, I do. But I thought Jon Favreau's version was better, in my opinion. And then Guy Ritchie's Aladdin, which I thought was one of the most underrated Disney live-action remake. I thought it was great. Sure, it's not as great as the original, because the original will always be one of my all-time favorites, and it's a masterpiece. I thought those were the few Disney live-action remakes that I really enjoyed. As growing up as a kid, and I won't lie to you, I was not the biggest fan of the original Little Mermaid movie. I'm not saying that it's not great, but I don't think it was one of my favorites, and it's not in the top tier Disney animated classics. I still enjoyed it, but I still want to go back and revisit that film again if I still stand by my opinion. But as of now, it's still a decent movie, but not one of my favorites. Now, going into the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, going into this movie, I went into this very low expectations. I was not going in there expecting much. I was still going in with a very open mind, and I was just hoping that it's really good, because I don't want to go in there and try to compare it to the original film shot for shot. I just want to judge the movie on its own merits, and after coming out of this film, I will say this film was much better than I thought it would be. It was one of the most better live-action remakes that we've had in recent years. I thought it was very well directed. The visual effects were so good. I thought Halle Bailey as Ariel, even though she looked nothing like the original character from the animated movie, I really bought her as Ariel. I thought she nailed it. She can definitely sing. And after coming out of this movie, she is definitely a movie star. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. She really nailed it. The song that she did for Part of Your World in the scene, it was so much well settled, and it served the story, and it looked like she was singing from a Broadway. It looked like she belonged in a Broadway play, and it's not a negative. That's actually a positive. I thought she nailed it, and I can't wait to see more of her in the movies, because I know that she's got one movie coming up later this year called The Color Purple, which from what I've heard, it's supposed to be based on a novel or a play or something, and it is a remake to the Steven Spielberg's movie. But I'm excited to see what she's going to do in The Color Purple, because I think she's a damn good actress. She nailed the vocal as a singer. She can definitely sing. It gave me goosebumps when she sang that song, Part of Your World. It brought a lot of nostalgic. And I will say that the supporting characters of her friends, Scuttle, played by Awkwafina, Flounder as Jacob, voiced by Jacob Tremblay, and I don't know the actor's name who played Sebastian, but I thought the three of them were really good. I don't think that the animation design of the characters translate well, in my opinion. I thought that was really stuck up like a sore thumb, but I thought Sebastian, for me, was the scene stealer. And Awkwafina was very good as Scuttle, but even though I'm still not the biggest fan of Awkwafina, because I'm not a big fan of how much she's been typecast in a comedic role and how she's handled, because the best dramatic performance she's ever given in her acting career was The Farewell, which if you have not seen that film, you should check it out, because I thought she crushed it, and I just hope that they give her better material in the future. But overall, I thought the three of them were good. They were not great, but it took me a while for them to grow on me. But they weren't terrible. And I thought Eric, the actor who played Eric, I thought he nailed the role playing Eric. I bought him in as a character. It was so interesting that they were taking the character and trying to have him and Ariel have more common interests. They love collecting artifacts that is so beyond of their world that they have not got a chance to explore. And I thought it worked. It could have been done so poorly, but it didn't. It worked. The love story between the two of them was great. I know I've been hearing a lot of people did not buy the love story between Eric and Ariel, but I thought it was so charming and so delightful. I bought into it. It was so natural. And also Haley Bailey, when her character lost the ability to speak, she nailed the performance without having any dialogue. It was so very well convincing that it did not pull me out of the film. Ariel was such a great optimistic that is just curious to go beyond the world than for the surface world than in the sea, because her whole life she's been isolated from the surface world. She never got a chance to see what's out there because her father, Kane Triton, or Trenton, if I'm pronouncing his name right, played by Javier Bardem, has been trying to keep her away from the world because he does not like the humans. They think that they're flawed and murderous because after what happened in his own past experience, which I don't want to go into it too much. I don't know if that's supposed to be a spoiler. I don't know if that the backstory was used in the original film, because I had to go back and revisit that film again. But I thought, and also Harvey Bardem as the dad was great. Some people thought he sleptwalked in this movie, which I can completely disagree. I thought he had more range in this movie. I really bought into his character. The relationship that he had with Ariel was so emotional. And I just wanted, and I still wanted more. There were a few negatives that I have with the film. It's not perfect. I will say that there are 10 minutes of runtime that could have been trimmed down a little shorter. And some of the musical numbers, like, without spoiling anything, Prince Eric's musical number the song was great, but I thought that the visualize, it just did not work. And Aquafina's character Scuttle, who did the musical numbers too, I thought that kind of felt very shoehorned in. It did not work for me, but that's just not enough to take me out of the film. And I thought Melissa McCarthy, who played Ursula, the main villain, who tries to cut a deal with Ariel to give her like 3 days as a human, but she would have to lose her voice. Visual-wise was great, performance-wise was terrific. She did not disappoint. She was such a convincing villain without coming off as a cheesy, corny villain on screen. She felt very convincing. The set designs was so well done. It was mostly done practical most of the time, and it was just so well done. Even the underwater scene, even though it wasn't like one of the Avatar: The Way of Water underwater sequences level, because to compare to The Little Mermaid and Avatar: The Way of Water, The Way of Water, the way that they were shooting the underwater scene, even though they were in a soundstage on green screen, but James Cameron actually shot it underwater. And the only way that the Na'vis were able to communicate was through sign language. So to be fair, The Little Mermaid in the underwater scenes, they communicate, they talk, so they had to be on green screen in order for it to work, because then it just wouldn't have worked if they actually like shot it in underwater sequences. Even though majority of the time when they're outside of the water, they do shoot in a water sequences. But overall, this is definitely one of the better films I've seen all year, and it's definitely a worthy Disney live-action remake, and it's a movie you should check out. Like I said before, don't go into this movie, try to compare it to the original, shot for shot. And don't try to go in there for your own personal agenda. Just hope that it's a good movie. And if it works for you, great. But if it doesn't work for you, then yeah, at least you gave it a shot and you wanted it to be good, but it just did not resonate with you. For me personally, I thought it really worked, especially in the third act finale. I thought it was so very well done. The finale when Ariel and Eric had to fight off Ursula, visual-wise, it looked incredibly well done. It was so terrifying to watch Ursula as a giant trying to take the both of them out. It had the big higher power. And look, this is not a major spoiler because, one, it's in the original film. So you've seen the original film, you already know how the finale is going to turn out. And I thought the ending was so heartfelt. It didn't feel a cheesy, happy, cliche ending that we've seen many times before. It was very well sold and it was emotional, at least for me. And also it didn't try to like be a shot for shot copy and paste of the remake, even though there were some, but it lets it be its own identity at the same time. Even if you have not seen the original Little Mermaid, you can still go in there and still enjoy it for what it was, and you might be compelled to watch the original film, and most of you might like the original film more. After coming out of this movie, I will say I might like this movie more than the original. I don't know yet. Don't come at me because I know it's a hot take. I probably am going to go back and rewatch the original film just to actually make sure if I liked one or the other more. But overall, this is definitely a movie you should check out and give it a shot. You might be pleasantly surprised. It could have been another cash grab of the Disney live-action remake, but no, it did not feel that way watching the movie itself. It felt like they put their heart into the movie, and they were just all about making the best movie possible. Now, have you seen this movie? What did you think of it? Did you really enjoy this movie more like I did? Or were you just one of the people that just gave it a chance, but it just did not work for you? Just jump down in the comment section below and leave me your thoughts, because I would really love to hear it. And I would recommend that you seen this in IMAX. They shot majority of the film in IMAX cameras when the aspect ratio starts to change when they're in the underwater scenes. Not the whole movie, but majority of it was filmed in IMAX, and I thought it was very well stunning. Go and subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, and it just shows you more support, and I will be posting more. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I'm very active on those social media sites. I will put the links down in the description down below.